I'd like to speak on a verse that's found in James, his epistle, James chapter 4 and verse 6. For God opposes the proud, but gives grace to the humble. James is quoting here from the book of Proverbs, Proverbs 3:34. Interestingly, Peter also quotes the same verse in his epistle, 1 Peter 5:5. Clearly it was an important verse for the early church. It's also important and relevant for our age and society. There are two halves to the verse, and there's a stark contrast in the verse. There are two types of people and attitudes. There are also two very different responses from God. Let's look at them in turn. The first half tells us that God opposes the proud. God opposes or resists. Now, straight away, we're confronted with a problem. That is a problem for some. God opposing, resisting. That is opposing people. The word here is strong. The dictionary says to range in battle against. The picture is of God coming as in a battle against people, as an enemy. He opposes. He's against. I wonder if that surprises you. Does it disturb or unsettle you? Many, I'm sure, even within the church, would protest. God wouldn't do that. But here it is, friends. Our text says so. He opposes people. He opposes nations. If we had time, we could develop this. God is opposing our nation. God sends calamities. Isaiah 45 and verse 7. I form light and create darkness. God is speaking. I make well-being and create calamity. I am the Lord who does all these things. Why? Why would God oppose nations and individuals? It says in our text. Who does he oppose? He opposes the proud. Who are the proud? Those who have too high an estimation of themselves, those who think better of themselves than they ought, those who have no need for God, no need for his word. They can cope without God. They live, and God does not come into their thoughts, doesn't come into their plans and calculations. Is Britain proud? What's the greatest sin? It's not murder, not adultery. It is pride. What is our greatest problem? It is not the pandemic. It is not the economy. It is our sin. Are you proud? What is your attitude towards God? What is his attitude towards you? Is he opposing? But then secondly, if God opposes some, the text goes on to say that he gives grace, favour to some. This is surprising. This is astonishing. This is amazing. The first half is not shocking. That God should oppose me is reasonable, it's understandable. I've broken his commandments. I've ignored him. I've thought too highly of myself. That God should send a flood or a virus does not surprise. We deserve worse. What surprises me this afternoon is that God gives grace. He saves. He protects. He blesses. Who? To whom does he give? The humble. Who are they? Well, they are the opposite of the proud. Those who see and confess that they deserve wrath and judgment and hell. Those who are poor in spirit, those who beat their breasts saying, God be merciful unto me a sinner. Those who are converted and made as little children. Those who leave the pods on swine and the far country and return saying, I have sinned against heaven and against thee, and am not worthy to be called thy son. God is opposing us in Wales. My prayer is that these things that we've been through and are experiencing will bring us to our senses, bring us to confess our sin and our need for God. Questions before I end. Firstly, is God against you? Or is God giving to you? Secondly, are you proud? Will you humble yourself before God so that he may exalt you? Then I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died. My richest gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. Amen.